Hello, everyone out there. Welcome to Radio Free Decipher.
Back with the full staff.
Amazing. You've been gone for like the last two episodes.
Yeah, but nobody misses me. It's all right.
Did you realize that first one we did was our 137th episode spectacular?
I did not realize
when you had
that.
Sala Baker and
the 100
and Lawrence McCory.
You know, that was going to be a really important RFD for us, simply because we're big Simpsons fans.
Yeah.
And The Simpsons did a 137th episode spectacular.
Yeah. Well, we had two guests on.
That was spectacular.
That was spectacular.
Do you know the reason why The Simpsons did the 137th episode spectacular? It was because prior to The Simpsons being the longest running ever cartoon,
right,
it was the Flintstones, and they had 136 episodes. So when The Simpsons broke the record, they did the big hoo-ha.
And I don't think anything's ever going to turn around and break The Simpsons record.
Yeah, that's a pretty long-running cartoon.
All right. So what have we got today? You can tell us a little bit about those cons you were so busy at.
Yeah, I can. I of course have written a little bit of a wrap-up about each of the cons, but let me just...
including the boxing match.
The boxing match. That
I had fun reading that.
Fun. There were a lot of pictures I took. Now, the camera that I was using when I was taking those pictures had some weird setting that it was using. That's why all those pictures look really blurry, but it was really fun. Both of those guys did a great job, and you know, we were in the article. It jokes about the fact that they took second place in their weight class. Well, there were only two boxers in each of those weight classes, so although they did take second, they also lost their only match. So, but they had a lot of fun, and man, you know, they were braver than I was, because I don't know if I could have been out there.
No, I never in a million years. So.
Big kudos.
Good job,
to those
Kendrick
guys,
and Brad.
Man. Absolutely.
Okay, what else about the cons?
Man, we did so many demos. Our volunteers were just fantastic at the two conventions that we were at. We set single-day records ever for doing demos. The volunteers at Gen Con did 193 demos in one afternoon.
That's insane.
Of just Lord of the Rings. Now, that is on top of like the 47 or almost 50 Star Trek demos that went on that day as well.
Right, because second edition was going there.
So just a massive, massive number of demos, more than we've ever seen before. And there were at times, now picture this, Evan, imagine going to a convention like San Diego or Gen Con.
Yes.
You know, there are a million things to do at these conventions.
Right.
You know, anything from, you know, participating in a LARP to watching a movie to seeing a celebrity to, you know, just playing in tournaments. There's a jillion things to do, right? Imagine coming to one of these shows and standing around in a line to get a demonstration of a game for over an hour.
That's incredible.
That's what was happening. There was a massive amount of people just wanting to get demos of The Lord of the Rings, and it was incredible. And thanks to all those people that waited in those lines, and thanks to all of our volunteers for demoing anywhere from 3 to 5 people at a time. I mean, it was incredible. So
cool.
The Lord of the Rings role-playing core book came out,
right?
And it was really a huge buzz at the show, because
I've heard a lot of outstanding feedback about it, particularly people that are raving about the look of it, both inside and out.
But even though the book looks beautiful, I've also heard a lot about how well the system plays.
I have too.
And you know, and a lot of people have compared it to the Coda system. I'm sorry, it is the Coda system. Had compared it to the old Icon system used by Last Unicorn Games, and how it is a vast improvement upon that. And of course, it's designed by the same guys. And I think the team of Christian and all those people learned a lot from the old Icon system and have really, really improved on it. And they said it's seamless, it is flawless, it is just an incredible, incredible book. So.
Yeah, I also think that people had maybe set their sights, their expectations a little too low after the adventure game. I mean, we had always been saying that the adventure game was designed as sort of an introductory for people who are not maybe, you know, very far into role-playing games, and that this is going to be very, very much more involved. And so I think people weren't quite expecting what they got here.
Right. Well, another thing that I've heard that was really positive about the core book was that people were sort of cringing at the idea of it being movie-based completely. Like, okay, here's the core book about the Fellowship of the Ring, and then here's the core book about the Two Towers, and then here's a book about and it's not like that. It is all-encompassing, and you even get stuff that's not in the movies, a lot of background material, all kinds of really, really good stuff. Cool. So those guys did a fantastic job, and kudos to Christian and all the people that developed that book. So
excellent.
Good stuff.
What else you got? Any more con wrap up?
Well, really quickly one more thing about the Lord of the Rings role-playing book. The core book that we released at Gen Con in modest amounts will be available starting August 30th. So the end of this month. It'll start hitting stores August 30th. It may not hit the store right near you on August 30th, but sort of expect it at that time. So, hey, for those of you in the U.S., a nice Labor Day present.
Yeah, there you go. Something to do with your free Monday.
There you go. So
cool.
That is about it.
All right.
I mean, there's tons more that I could go on and on about the conventions, but try and pick up what I talked about in the articles that I wrote, and that'll give you the good idea of everything that happened. So, and I must also say, Dominic Monaghan, fantastic guy.
I heard that he was
such a nice guy. Such a nice guy. And I have to say that I got to go see a movie with him and Elijah Wood, so that was the highlight of my 2 weeks away.
Oh yeah, well I saw that same movie with Jeff Snyder, our play tester, and Sandy Weibel, our production layout head, and so.
Good for you, man.
Who got the better end of that deal?
There's nothing like him turning around and saying to us, hey, what do you guys think? We were just like, whoa, and the other really funny thing was, we're sitting right there with, Mary and Frodo, and the Two Towers trailer comes on, and we're all like, kind of looking over at him like, I wonder what these guys are thinking about this right now. It's kind of weird.
They catch you looking at him?
I don't think so. They were just watching the trailer. Yeah, I think one of them made a crack like, who are these guys?
I was going to say, I mean, if they're just sitting there watching their own trailer, some might think that vain.
No, I think they were kind of like joking about it and stuff. So yeah, it was pretty good.
Cool.
And all of their rugby friends were there with us too, or like Australian guys. It was really cool. So very, very nice guys. So, all right, let's move on to other fun stuff.
First of all, before we move on to an interview we've got lined up for you, we want to talk about a special RFD broadcast that we are going to be doing next week.
Early Monday morning.
So,
yeah, there are three of us, Dan Bojanowski, myself, and Ray Liu, that are coming in at like 6 a.m. that day, so that we can start working on all of the rating stuff and compiling all the teams for the World Cup and all those things, so that we can get it all ready to go post up on the internet that day.
The World Cup.
That's right.
It's time.
This
is the announcement of the teams, is it not?
It is. So this Monday, as soon as you get into work, Evan, we're going to grab you. We're already going to have all the little pieces of paper put into the bucket, and we're going to pull the names out of the hat to find out who's on the Sanctuary teams, Team Rivendell and Team Lothlorien.
Awesome.
So be on the lookout for a special RFD next week.
Yes, and and those of you who even aren't in the drawing, you can tune in and listen to us butcher other people's names. I mean, that's fun.
That's right. I went through and did some statistical analysis of where all the World Cup, where the top 100 are now, and who is already on a team and who is not, and it broke down to something like 37 of the current top 100 are already on a World Cup team. Okay. So that means that 63 people are eligible for those two extra World Cup teams. And out of those 63, it was something like 20 of them were international and 43 of them were from the United States.
So that could still change.
It could still change.
Okay, cool.
Especially since the European Continentals happened that very last weekend. So probably expect a lot of people to go dramatically up in ranking, especially the gentleman from Poland who won the European Continental. So he did really, really well. So
all right.
Looking forward to that.
Okay, so interview. We're going to actually bring on Monica, the head of the marketing department. It's been a while since she's joined us because she's got news on a cool promotion that's coming up.
All right, welcome to Radio Free Decipher again, Monica. It's been a while since you've been on here.
It's been a very long time because I am such a good guest star on this show.
The implication there is you're boring and we don't have the boring people on?
That's right.
No.
That's
not
right.
true. Not true.
This time I'm not going to be very boring because I've got a great program to talk about.
Well, let's talk. It's the Éowyn program for the promo card. I know a lot of people have seen that card already on the website, the new Rohan culture, which is going to be really cool. So tell us a little bit about Éowyn and how everyone can get their hands on it.
We've been teasing Éowyn, teasing the players with Éowyn all summer long during the convention season with the large, gigantic card that we've had up on the booth.
Yeah.
It's drawn a lot of attention. But actually, we are getting ready to introduce her on the worldwide retail network through the Retail Fellowship by giving her out for every $10 purchase of Lord of the Rings trading card games. So if you bought, 3 booster packs of any Realms of the Elf Lord, Mines of Moria, or Fellowship of the Ring, you get a free Éowyn card.
So anything from the Fellowship block. Well, obviously, because Two Towers isn't out yet.
Exactly.
There
But
we go.
she is a Two Towers card.
Okay. And when does this go into effect?
The program is going to kick off in only Retail Fellowship stores worldwide September 1st through October 31st.
And there's going to be a story explaining all this that should go up on the website today, as a matter of fact.
Exactly.
Correct?
Exactly.
Stuff.
So there are several hundred Retail Fellowship stores, correct?
Thousands.
Thousands.
Yeah.
And this is everywhere, like in Australia and Europe and South America, all over the place that are going to have these
Okay,
cards.
cool. And
Yes.
all of them, they'll have it in stock there at the store at the time.
It's a worldwide program. Each store is going to be given a supply of cards that they can use for customers when they come in the door.
So all I have to do is walk in and buy my $10 worth, and I've got an Éowyn card.
So if you buy, Evan, if you go down to comics and everything down the street, you're and you buy a box of Realms of the Elf Lords, that means you're gonna get like 10 or 12 of these.
Is this for every $10?
That's exactly.
Oh,
right.
that's cool. What would I do with 12
So that means
Éowyn
everybody
cards?
needs 4 of them, right? Because you can have 4 in your deck. So
Yeah, Bojo already said he would buy $40 worth of product to get 4 cards.
Cool.
it's a good
Now, I
card.
assume they're not going to be tournament legal, although that certainly won't stop you from throwing them in your own decks.
Right.
Yeah, specifically Éowyn is alternate image, so she will not, that exact image will not be available in the Two Towers set.
Okay. But the game text will be the same.
The game text will remain the same.
Okay, cool.
Excellent.
I
Well, I think it's also very appropriate today, Monica, since you're on RFD and talking about Éowyn, that you're wearing purple, since the new Rohan culture is kind of purplish.
Yes, and this card actually brings about the whole new Rohan culture of cards, and if only I looked exactly like Éowyn, things would be good.
Oh, come on, you're close. You got the blonde hair and the purple on today, so you're doing good. You just need a sword.
Exactly.
Cool.
Kick some butt.
This is really cool. This
Yeah.
is actually the first that I'm
Yeah.
hearing of it. Is at the same time all of you hear it. So this is really cool.
And the beauty of it is everything is coming in on schedule.
Hey.
All the cards and the materials are shipping out to stores on schedule early
Excellent.
next week.
Now,
So-
Monica, does that mean that we're all going to be up at the warehouse early next week shipping a whole bunch of stuff to 1,000 retailers?
Wear your scudgy clothes, Kyle.
All right.
Oh, boy.
Okay.
Good-
So
good
2 full
times.
months of Éowyn.
Good
Excellent.
times.
The
Good
other
times.
thing is that the European distributors or the international distributors, some of them have wanted to produce their own Éowyn cards in their languages. So they will
wow.
have similar programs going on in those territories. The English version will be running simultaneously
Okay.
with the international.
Holy
That's
moly.
great.
So that means there's going to be like a UK version of the Éowyn. I mean Spanish or French.
Exactly.
Yeah, where they speak UKE. Is that it, Kyle? Nice.
That was a joke. That was a joke.
Okay, well, cool. You got any other news to share with us?
That's about it for now.
Okay.
I think next week we'll have some other news to share about the league program.
Okay, excellent.
Good stuff. That means Danny B is going to be on the show.
The big Bojo.
Awesome.
All right.
We love having him on because he always makes us laugh. So.
And you too, Monica.
That's right.
I wasn't as boring this time.
No,
Not at all.
When I said, okay, Monica, you're coming on to talk about the Fairmere program, right? She's
The
like,
Éowyn program.
or the A1. Yeah, that's what I meant. Duh. She's like, come on, I'm in a bad mood. I'm like, we'll help make you laugh. And did you have a good time?
I had a great
Oh,
time.
good.
You guys are the best.
Good. Thank you. All right.
All right, have fun.
Oh,
Éowyn.
Good. You got some Star Trek 2 stuff for us. Second edition. I'm sorry, Star Trek Second Edition.
Yes. Star Trek 2 on the brain because it
yeah.
came out on DVD this week.
Right.
And pretty good DVD presentation, too.
Now, Brad got to see firsthand a lot of the stuff that went on at Gen Con with all the people demoing the second edition. What have you heard, and what has been said of it since then?
Well, truthfully, I haven't read that much because I haven't had time to go anywhere. Brad and I are both working 12-hour days constantly now, sometimes more, coming in on weekends, taking laptops home with us at night and breathing, living, eating Star Trek right now to get the second edition done. So I have not kept up on my email. I haven't kept up on the bulletin boards, but as I understand it, it went very well at Gen Con. Brad came back and told me some good things. I've had one or two emails that I've read or poked my head in on, and I've had you guys come up and tell me, see, I'm rambling. This is how tired I am. But
tell us what happened right before you came down here for RFD real quick with your second edition.
Make me relive this painful memory of I'm in the process of laying out cards for another round of playtesting. We've had one already, and I'm updating the cards, and my document crashed.
Right as I come up there, I'm like, hey, man, let's get downstairs and let's do this RFD. I've got a bunch of topics. And he goes, all right. And he does one thing, and then all of a sudden, boom, the error message comes up. This application is unexpectedly quick.
Yeah, there was profanity, very loud profanity. It represent, all things considered, it wasn't that much work because we are well trained to save often. But it was about 5-10 minutes worth of work I lost.
Sure.
Which I'm now holding in my head to get back up there and finish when we're done. But anyway, we are in the process of playtesting, making lots of refinements. The art department is working on slight template modifications. What you saw at Gen Con, as was noted on the cards, art and gameplay are not final, so there are still tweaks being made. Let's see. What can I want to share an interesting story with you, but kind of a short one given my time crunch. So I did have people ask if attributes on ships were going to change in the way that attributes on personnel are changing. So I figure I'll answer that one for you. Yes, they're changing, but no, it won't be on a scale of 1 to 10 because basically mission span kind of dictates where the scale needs to start. Because for starters, we're revising mission span because it kind of doesn't make sense the way it's laid out now. There's just some discrepancies.
Okay.
But in the end, missions are going to have spans between 1 and 4, and hopefully, in our opinion, they'll make a little more sense than the spans that are there now. Once we've decided that 4 is the upper limit, we have to make sure that none of the ships that we ever want to make would ever get stranded, that they wouldn't be able to cross to a mission just because they're so slow compared to how large the span is.
Right. So
that tells you that 4 is the bottom end of that scale. So the way we're doing the attributes this time is basically logarithmic. They kind of go up they're not directly related to one another. That's just that each one is a step better, but not necessarily doubly better or whatever. We're basically doing away with both mortally wounded on the personnel battle side of things and doing away with directly destroying a ship on the ship battle side of things. So now it's just going to be... I'm probably not making sense here.
I was going to say, I think you'd have to be a mathematician to figure it all out.
Okay, here's the short version. The scale is between 4 and 11. And I know this sounds really weird, but this is how it worked out.
Hey, man, that's why you get paid the big bucks to figure all that stuff out. That's right.
It's on a scale between 4 and 11, and basically think of all the different time eras of Star Trek. Each have a range on this scale. And ships are either basically low, medium, or high, depending on their own time frame.
Got it.
So, for example, the Enterprise, Archer's Enterprise, it would be a medium fast ship in its time frame because there are Vulcan ships that are much faster, but of course there are all these freighters that are much slower.
Got it.
And so its range would be the number that represents middle for its time frame.
All right.
And
well,
so
that
on
starts
and
to
so
make
forth
sense.
all the way up. See, I could have just said that in the first place, but there's little subtle overlappings. Like, for example, a slow ship in one time frame might be a fast ship in another time frame and have the same number.
Right.
So imagine this little, step ladder type of thing as it goes on up, and 11 is where that happens to end up.
Got it.
That was the last step we needed, so that's the top of the scale.
Got it. Which would be the future Enterprise.
Which would be ships from the distant future, actually. Things like the Relativity or something might have super high attributes on that end. So we're just trying to account for it all now, even though Premiere is not going to have stuff from Enterprise in it. It's probably not going to have, the Relativity in it.
That's some good forward thinking.
We're trying our best, man. So there you go.
Right.
So there's your tidbit, and I apologize if that made no sense, but I'm not in the habit of making sense right now. So.
It's all good. Well, then let's sort of wrap this thing up.
Yeah.
I got one more fun little piece of
and
news.
this is good. This is totally...
Decipher has a soccer team. And later today, Decipher's soccer team will be taking on our Decipher's printing company's soccer team. So we have challenged the people who make our cards to a soccer duel.
And you guys have been taking this very seriously. I mean,
we have been practicing almost every lunch.
2 months.
For about a month and a half to 2 months.
Yeah.
And we've got lots of bruises, and I have lots of skin missing off my knee to prove it.
From what I hear, though, you guys are much better than the softball team.
Probably. I think our softball team, on average, wins maybe 2 a year.
Yeah.
And we've got some skills, yo.
No, this is good. I mean, boxing, soccer. Look at us.
We've turned into like the little sports conglomerate here.
So all of you out there, kind of root for the Decipher soccer team, and we'll let you know how it goes.
Next week, we'll let you know if we got whooped by our printing people or if we whooped them. So.
All right, cool.
All right, thanks so much for listening, and it's good to be back.
Yeah. Have a great weekend.